Hello and welcome back to our channel, Quinta, Fonte, Pipa. It's been about a month since we posted.
Unfortunately, we've had a few problems here, but firstly we want to thank everybody that's messaged us, contacted us, you know, worried about us while we haven't posted. It's been really nice, and we really do appreciate it. We finished the Christmas market, which me and Molly had, we had some fun at, didn't we, which was good. We had Christmas, which was quiet. Then, unfortunately, I got a phone call from the hospital in Castellabranco telling me I needed to go in and have an endoscopy done. No idea why I needed it, but Molly and I went off, had the endoscopy done, but for some reason I ended up with really bad back pains and ended up trapping a nerve. I spent the next 2 weeks in bed.
2.5.
Yeah, about 2.5 weeks in bed. Couldn't move, I couldn't do anything, crying. So Alex and Molly had more jobs on their hands, so we didn't really get time to film.
Yeah.
Me being poorly's had a bit of a knock-on effect. Everyone's kind of
Bit down and depressed about it.
Yeah.
Well, Sandra's just been told that the doctors are worried about her having a heart attack, and that's due to all the pills that she takes. So
I've got to now go back to the hospital and have tests done on my heart. So
that's an extra worry, isn't it?
fingers crossed. But however, these guys have kept busy, although I haven't. I've just been in bed with a heat pad, having a bit of a rest.
This week it's an extra long 50-minute video for you because we've been away for so long. So if you enjoy the video, please give it a like, and if this is the sort of thing you like to watch, maybe think about subscribing because it helps our channel out.
What have you done?
After our intro and explaining that we had camera problems with the GoPro losing all the footage, we've come back down to this bit of land that when it was about a week ago I came here and cleaned this, trying to give you an example of what it was like. Pretty much like just over here, that group of jesters and matu. It was up here, and I've cleaned pretty much all of it, and all the way up there to the stone cottage, which we've got, which is just up there, which we'll show you in a second. Poor old mum's left standing over there because she can't walk.
Especially not on this terrain.
Yeah, this is really dangerous for mum. She falls over a lot, bless her. There's a fire track through here, which I've cleaned. I mean, look, this is what the place was like. I've got to come back with a strimmer and like a circular saw blade on it and chop this down, chop it all along the edge of the wall there, and it'll be pretty good. But this was a fire track. I think you can see by what's on the ground, it was pretty much overgrown like this. Nobody's cleaned this fire track, which comes from the truck round there, all the way down there, and it goes to the main fire track, which runs through the middle of our farm and up past our house and to the lake. I've cleaned that because otherwise it's bridging it. And this was also in the same state. There were some huge eucalyptuses growing up here. That was already cut down. That's a huge eucalyptus stump. That was already cut down when we bought the farm, but this had regrown from it, I think. But there's 3, 4 I chopped down the other day. This is what this area was like, all this rubbish here. I want to come and take these last few pine trees out, and when I bring the strimmer up here, I want to thin out some of this stuff in here again to reduce the fire risk. There's a horrible on that pine. There's one of the horrible nests of the caterpillars. There's another one up on there, so we're slowly trying to get rid of all the pine trees. But this thing here is a corn drying pad. A few more bits of pine I've already chopped down, but they would put their dried corn on the cob plants on here and then beat it with sticks to separate the corn from the plant. Under all the moss is concrete. So this would make a great car parking area or an area to sit. As you can see our house over there. So this is one of the extra buildings we've got on the property, a lovely little stone cottage. It was built before 1951, but nobody ever lived in it, so we couldn't do that up and live in it basically. But it's a lovely building that the roof's slowly getting tired on it, and I think in a couple of years it might collapse, the roof. But inside is a lot of lovely stuff. loads of ploughs, there's things from the old well. If we walk round here, Molly, because again, all this land was like this. You can see where I've come in with the chain on the back of the tractor. Come on, look. Here's a big wheel from a well. All the buckets would hook onto this sections here. These little spikes would get turned by a machine which would roll this round. All the buckets are laying up. There's a mezzanine floor inside the building, and all the buckets are laying up the top. The farm used to produce a lot of wine, and this is for making aguardent, fire water, where they would distill the remnants of all the grapes and everything else. In fact, look what's on it, Molly.
Oh.
Bits of the tile are falling off. They're pretty old, these tiles. It would be a nice thing to get this fixed up, but it's what it is what it is.
And unfortunately, it's very low on the priority list at the moment.
We need to get these goats sorted.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's no point in me sort of building all the milking parlour and everything else and leaving this as a giant fire hazard and then the fire coming in and burning it all. So I've cleaned all the way down here. Tried to clean this, and then it goes into our olive groves and everything else, which burnt really heavily. So now, this is a remake of what we filmed the other day, wasn't it, when everything was missing. So now we're going to go off up to the top of the farm and redo the bit that we did up there, and then we'll continue with the film that we've actually managed to save on the GoPro. Hey. Come on, Mum. And now we're up at the top, and I've been coming in here and I've been thinning out our eucalyptus, but what I also want to do is about 20 meters back is I want to cut everything down. So again, if the fire should come through the eucalyptus, it's going to die right down before it gets into here. We did actually have the trailer parked just over there during the fire, and it was absolutely fine because I ploughed the land around it, and it was far enough away from here the radiant heat didn't set light to it. But you can see I've been going in there, all the stuff that's on the ground, thinning it out. Now I can see through it. The problem with eucalyptus is after a fire it will then throw up fresh suckers, fresh trees from the root sections that run out trying to save itself, and then it gets so thick and unmanageable in there. We've only got about maybe 1.5 hectares of eucalyptus, but it's extremely useful to have as firewood. I hate eucalyptus generally, so I'm trying to do my best to thin this out, but without taking, like here is a perfect example. There's one thick tree growing, but it's got 3 suckers around it. I need to get rid of the suckers. I need to thin a little patch in there. I'm slowly trying to thin this out, and then we need to bring a lot of this out and burn it. There's a lot of stuff to clean and a lot of stuff to burn. We're not quite sure when the fire bans are going to come in this year. So, and like you can see today, it's very, very windy, so I wouldn't actually want to start a fire today. And now we're going to go down and we're going to get on with the cleaning of all the rubbish and the damage from the wild boar around the milking parlour. Getting ready to start reworking on that. The wild boar, the little buggers. That was, I think I've said it in another video, there's 3 or 4 bags of cement. They've ripped the plastic off. The rain got to the bags of cement, it went hard, and they've come back and they've eaten it. It wasn't enough bags of cement to finish what I'm doing, but I could have actually, there were a few weeks I could have got on, but because of this and lack of money, I couldn't. So all this is going to go inside, the rubbish is going to go in there, we're going to clean it up. There's a generator under the plastic there that wants cleaning up. But we were given a camera system before Christmas by a company called Ank, and we're going to do a review on their system in one of the next week's next week's videos. It's been so long I nearly said next month. They're very, very good, so we'll do a review on that. But the reason I've mentioned it is we did some footage from the security cameras about the wild boar in one of our videos, but after that 6 came and visited one night in our back garden. And I got some really good footage of it. Our dogs came out and found them and barked at them, and one of these big ones tried to have Eddie. Time to get on and clear up some of this mess. This is the goats, isn't it? This isn't the boar, this is the goats. They've pulled the plastic back. The cork trees have dropped all their leaves and it's mixed all in. But you might have seen before, I think a few other people on the other channels have had the same idea, to use the old spring mattress from the beds. The sand falls through and all the leaves and everything stay on the top. But I think we'll use that plastic in a minute and we'll double coat this again. See if I can get some of this back in there. Oh. They've really dragged it out, haven't they? Right, well, we're down to the plastic there, we put it on.
We did try to be clever by making it into like a sandwich.
Yeah, well, we wrapped it, put the blocks on it.
Do you not get my joke? We wrapped it like a sandwich. Get
oh,
it?
A sandwich.
Yeah.
Did you lot get that? I didn't. Just to stop the leaves more than anything else.
But as you can tell, the winds have got bad, hence the amount of blocks. The washing the other day nearly blew off of the washing line.
Well, it's not so much, it's what the goats, they go like this and then they find their way under it, because that was covered. And then when they've stood on it, you know what sand's like, it just moves out the way. That's a lot of the big ones move it, and then the little babies are like, oh, sandpit.
Good morning. Well, apparently they forecast snow this week, so we've come up the top to our pile of olive wood that from the fire we've saved, and Alex is going to chop some up to keep us warm. Hey girls.
That was a big old tree. That was the trunk. That tree was probably that round, maybe. All gone. Oh, all that grain in it. It's all twisted grain. That's why olive wood's so beautiful.
Quite happily munching down the garden. And this little one here, you can see, Eileen, this is Muffin. Look how big she's got. Over there is the black one by the wall. That is Bonnie. These are sponsored goats. Today we've had to come to Castella Branco as Alex has a bit of a problem with the tractor. So here we are at DB Tractors in Castella Branco. It's a beautiful view there where we've just come from. Hopefully they'll have what he needs.
So Dad is back in the truck and we didn't know the technical names of everything he's getting, so Dad could explain his part.
I bought 2 tubes of grease that go in my grease gun, and the part that goes on my cutter to clean all the land, the outer shaft had got damaged on the outside. The whole unit is about 130 quid, but I've just managed to buy the bar, which I can take the ends off and it'll make sense when I get home. The whole lot just cost me 29 quid. So
Bargain.
rather than me beating the living daylights out of it every time I use that machine, it should be back to normal now.
Okay, that's good
So
news.
that's a bonus for a Monday morning, isn't it?
Absolutely. So off to MaxMat. We are here at MaxMat, which is one of the cheapest places that we can get cement and some of our building supplies. So Dad's come back.
I bought an electric socket box that I need, and that's a drain that I'm going to put in the floor, which will go under the milk chiller, because that little room has to be tiled, and obviously you want to wash it, so I want a drain for that to run away, and half a pallet of cement. So I'm just waiting for them to load it on the back with a forklift.
Oh yeah, so I don't have to lug cement.
Well, that's why I bought half a pallet, because then they load it. Well, they'll probably do it with less, but I'm going to need, it's about 35 bags, I'm probably going to need 45 bags maybe.
Okay. 36.
Sí, con noi. E poi aspetta aquí.
O mais impossível.
Sì, sì, por favor. A tutti gli esempi aiutato. Obrigado, obrigado. Obrigado.
Hang on. Okay, cool.
900 kilos.
Yes, there's 900 kilos of cement on the back of this truck right now.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. And our truck takes a ton, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So this is cement, not tile adhesive. So those of you who've only just been watching our channel a little while, when we laid the floor in Dad's shed, and there'll be a link for that video up here, I was the one who was sent to buy cement, and I ended up buying tile adhesive.
Because the bag looks almost identical.
Yeah. It's called Cementicola,
yeah.
and I didn't notice that. And we were mixing the floor, and Dad's like, "Oh, I'll put some more cement in it. It's not dark enough." It was tile adhesive, hence why it was setting a different colour. But that was completely my fault. So at least Dad got it right this time.
So I'm in the man cave, and I've come to sort out that part that we've just bought for the tractor. This is the part I've got to fix. The other part on the tractor is a male version of that slides in and out of here. As the tractor moves up and down, it gets shorter and longer, and it allows it to still turn everything, hence it being a triangular shape, but it allows it to slide in and out. I don't know if you can see this groove here. It's made such a big groove in it that it's actually dented the inside of the metal, and I've literally got, well, you can see the ends probably a little bit burred over where I've been beating it on and off with a hammer, which is not doing it a lot of good. This bit, which is probably 3/4 of a metre, maybe a metre long, it's €25. The same profile on the end, and instead of me buying it with all this bit on the end, I've got to cut this plastic off and take a pin out, which I'm about to show you, and then we'll get on with it from there. Well, it's probably not a bad thing, because I've just struggled a bit and it would have been rather boring to watch, but I forgot to press record on the camera, which was really clever. I've just got the roll pin out of here. Now I should be able to knock this shaft out of there. He says. That looks like that's wound in there. And I said earlier when I wasn't recording, this is just diesel in this bottle, which I use as a lube for the tractor equipment. It's cheaper than WD-40 and all the rest of it, and does just as good a job. Ooh. Woohoo! And she don't want to move. Wowzers. Yeah, that's in there. I think I'm just going to get a gas burner and warm this up. And by heating it, it should make the outer parts swell up and help crack any rust in there. But this gas torch really isn't a lot of cop. No. I've got a 10-ton bearing press next door. Well, that will mean I have to take this lot out to get that out. Oh dear. I'm going to have to take these circlips out of here and on the other side, and then take this Hardy Spicer joint out, this CV joint. So then I get a clear push straight through to there, because I don't want to keep beating this. It's not the way to be doing it really. A few whacks is alright, but that's really in there. I managed to get the shaft out last night, but the CV joint, or the universal joint, fell apart whilst dismantling it. That was in there, and that took my 10-ton bearing press I've got in the other shed, pushing it slightly backwards and forwards. I actually cut the main part of the shaft off so I could get this, that was in there like that, so I could get this in my bearing press, otherwise that's too long. And I really still struggled, so I slit it, which enables this to compress ever so slightly, and then I managed to put this in the vise, and using a very large punch that I've got, I keep all these, this is hardened steel, I keep all these ex-car parts and whatnot, which we use as drifts when you use them in a bearing press, and I managed to use this last night to punch it through. Lots of the diesel, and I managed to get it out. But I needed to take apart this joint last night, and one circlip, that's a circlip there, and that's in here, and it holds this part inside, this part, and one of them disintegrated, which meant the cap would fall out during use, so I'd need to go and buy a new circlip because I haven't got one the right size. And during taking that apart, the opposite cap shattered, so it was clearly not in a good state. And living in Portugal, that means I've got to drive all the way to Castelo Branco, and I hope the guys have got one in stock and don't say, yeah, I can order that, come back tomorrow, because that's what often happens, and you drive all the way to CB, all the way back, and then tomorrow you drive all the way there and all the way back just to pick the part up. So, because I haven't got any reference numbers or anything like that on these parts, I'm going to take all these bits with me, so the guy can double check and measure everything, and I think they should have them in stock. They're pretty standard parts, these universal joints. So wish me luck. I'm going to go on my way to CB right now and see if we can get this tractor running today. A couple of stalks over there, enjoying the morning heat. In case any of you are watching and you're actually living out here, Metro car parks, these guys are really good. There's his sign. Several of them speak English, so if any of you don't talk any Portuguese, that will help you out a lot. I'm just going to grab my bits and pieces, and hopefully he's got one in stock. He didn't have the part in stock, but it'll be here in about half an hour. There's a total of €18.45 with the VAT, which is a pretty fair price, and it was listed for a Land Rover. You didn't see it yesterday, but I was using this. This is my 10-ton press from England, from my old garage, so I'm going to use that to pull that joint apart. Yep, there we go. That's how they should come out. Like that. Right, now I was beating these yesterday. Normally you can take these out with a socket, punch that, that pushes the cap out this side, then you do it in reverse, and then you can take this part out, because I don't know if you can see. you have to put it on like this. And when it's got the caps in there, that is very difficult to get out. So you punch the caps out of both sides and then you work it in like that. Now I've got that. There we go. That was about 2 tons of pressure to shift that. That cap should, come on, that should tap out of there now. Well, this is the problem I had yesterday. Everything's so tight because that cap should really just fall out of there. Bit of persuasion. There we go. Ah. Hey, it went then. Now we'll clean these thoroughly, and not just with a cloth. I shall run a wire brush in there. I've got a wire brush on the drill. I'm spinning the drill up and then turning it off. So if it should catch in here, it's a lot safer than trying to with a big powerful drill like that. Is I'm also going to run this wire brush in here where that tube needs to go in. That's better. Hello, Chilly. You come to see me, sweetheart? Hey, hello. What's the matter? Bloody smell of oil. Give me a kiss. That one goes in like that. And then we'll do the same for this side. There we go. Circlip's dropped in there. That one's gone home, and I can see by this one it wants to go down that much. Now to get this in there, and for those of you that have been paying attention, that's got to go through it. Take the tape off. Right, well, there we are. There we go, and I'll put a punch in there and give it 1 or 2 more taps, and then that's done. So one more thing to do is fit the cover. That, I've not done that for about 3 years. I used to have to beat it off. Hopefully that's me back working again. For half a day's work well worth, and 2 trips to Castelo Branco, but well worth it. So good job done. Flat tyre. When I clean in very rough land, stuff gets pushed in between the tyre and the rim, and then creates a little space where it can leak air. And it's leaking down here, there's water coming out, because you know obviously I fill the tyres up with water. So temporarily, this has obviously lost 99% of its water, but I'm just going to fill it up with air for now to get on and do what we need to do. But it means I've had to drag the compressor all the way up here. At least the luck's consistent, or the lack of it.
If it wasn't for bad luck, we'd have no luck.
Yeah, yeah.
Hi down there.
Hello.
And how much PSI does that tyre hold?
Quite a lot, but I'll just blow it up until it looks roughly level. Because I'm going to have to let the air out to fill it up with water again now.
That's a neat trick.
That's the only way to do it. Alright.
Hey, Edna.
Edna. Edna.
Hello, Ed. Edna.
Edna. Edna. Eddie. Edna. No, haven't seen me for a while. And when they do see me, I stick pins in them. Stick needles in them. Well, this one's going to be a bit heavier. So let's hope this one. But we've put this one on a stronger pallet, thankfully. The other pallet was just the one that comes with them when you buy them, and they're pretty cheap pallets, to be honest. They only last a little while, especially when you pick them up with things like this and not a proper forklift. I don't mind the pallet breaking, but if it breaks when they're that high off the ground, that'll break the blocks. I don't care about the pallet, I just don't want the blocks to break. Right, let's hope that's going to work. That'll do.
See, they think Alex has got food, because when the truck turns up, that's what they usually get.
It might come in a bag and weigh the same amount, but it's not corn.
Right, what I don't need.
See, they think it's food.
Moving obstacles to avoid with a tractor.
They know when the truck turns up,
That's why they followed
that's
me.
food. Come on, down. Come on, off.
Come on.
Do you need the rake?
I just need to get it to the end because I'm lifting it up the wrong way otherwise. Because they've got a pallet truck, they can lift it from the side of a pallet. With doing it with this, I can't even just snap the pallet.
There's the boss. Hey, Ed. I'm sorry if there's wind noise, but it's a bit blustery up here.
Right, please lift it, please don't break it. Well, if the way of karma and everything works means I had to pump that tyre up for this lot not to break, that was my bad luck. I'm happy with that. I'd rather pump the tyre up than deal with this lot going everywhere. Hopefully now we can start the work finishing this off. I've got lots and lots of rocks just like are in the wall here in a huge pile near our back gate, which I'm going to run down and fill this up with, but it's quite slow because I only use the bucket. As you can see behind me, large pile of brick rubble. This was what the builder left that he should have taken away. So for several years this has sat here. there was also, this isn't down to the builder, but look at the size of this plumbing work. That was all to do with the farm somehow. I've never seen it in action, it was always laying on the ground. But this pile of rubbish went down, I think you can see the dark patch. There was some tin here and some metal, that's gone in the metal pile. I saved these chunky sections of steel here, which might get used in the milking parlour when I start putting the roof up. I can weld those together very easily and make a long beam out of those. But I've taken a lot of this away, and that's what's being used down at the milking parlour, which I'm about to show you. So you saw in the clip earlier that we were all up here the other day clearing up the mess the wild boar had made. The pallet of new cement is here, all wrapped up and protected, because we have actually had a couple of days rain. And this is some of the builder's rubbish, which is perfect infill for this section here, because eventually when it's up to the height of that second brick on the corner there, I've got to build the wall up to this level, and this will be the level that the goats will come in through a hole in the wall there. They will walk along here, their heads will go in that direction facing over there into the feeder. Obviously their back ends will be here, and they're at the perfect height for milking and attaching the milking equipment, just like a proper milking parlour. Funny that's what I'm trying to build. So it saves me filling this in with concrete or anything else, and it gives me a surface that I can lay the concrete slab on. Trying to kill two birds with one stone. I've not pushed it into the edges here yet with the bucket, because I used to be a digger driver many years ago, and with the force of the bucket, if I push that down, I've got every chance of bursting these walls out. So we will drag that down by hand with some hand tools. I've left this bit clear here because I've bought a little drain. Ooh. There's old dangerous Dan, look, falling over his own blocks there. The little wall will come out here, and the milk chiller will sit in this section. So we'll be able to bring our milking machine out, which comes on a trolley hopefully, out here, bring it to here, pour the milk contents into the 500 litre container, go back and milk the rest. Because the little milking trolley thing that we're hoping to get will do 4 to 6 goats at once, otherwise the prices go up astronomically. And the machine that we'll have in here, that will go along here, should hold 14 goats, 15 goats at once. And if that means that we will do one section of goats, let them out, they'll go back into the land down there, back towards their barn. The other lot will be waiting in another pen, which I've got to make a little bit later, a little fenced area. They'll come along the side of the milking parlour, there'll be a ramp here, they'll come in the door, go in there, the rest will be waiting outside, then when they come out, the others will go, and they'll go back to the barn. That's what we've done so far, and we're now going to take you over to another piece of land that we've got that's very close to the large lake, and I was starting to clear out another fire strip in there, and we're going to take you over there now. So here we are at the spot that you're about to see in a moment in the next following clips, which we filmed, what, last week?
Yep.
Yeah, late last week. I've got loads of terraces here which all follow around. It makes some lovely walks. Should we walk this way? And I've been thinning this out. Well, before we go actually, so there's Molly where we were cleaning. There's a ramp over there, and I can drive straight down in front of me, and we can drive down here. This is another terrace which runs this way, and this is how thick it is with pine trees, completely overgrown. There's olive trees in there, fruit trees. I have made a path through there with the tractor a couple of years ago, but I was literally just pushing the smaller pines over just so I could actually make myself an entry point to actually get into this land by foot to start chopping all these pine trees down. And where Molly is the terrace that we were working on. This was in the same state. I've chopped a lot of pine trees down. We've burnt the majority of it.
Still got a couple bits to go.
Yeah, all the sort of the top end, the thin stuff, we're just burning all of this. That's what's left of the fire.
It was getting late when we were cleaning in here, hence why we didn't end up throwing the few other pieces on here. Yeah, you have to apply. Obviously, you have to apply for the right to light the fire in the first place, but you're not allowed to leave them unattended, and it makes sense anyway, doesn't it? Pretty much common sense. But so we let this die down, and I think you can see there's a nice clear strip around it, because obviously this isn't the best sort of land to be lighting fires on.
wander down here then, Mole. There's more cork oaks, an olive tree, other oaks. I've been back here cleaning up. We'll probably keep these thicker pieces as firewood, but stuff like this we might just burn it.
A few more piles to burn, obviously not under the tree.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's still so dense in here with trees that we want to keep, like this lovely oak. We don't just want to light this, it's all going to have to get dragged to a clearing. I have got a clearing up here that I've been making. I mean, I love this part of the farm. Another pine I've chopped down. There's more cork oaks, there's native oaks. And if I wander over here, and this goes all the way around there to the giant lake of São Vicente, the Vargem de Pisco. Here's more cork oaks. This section in here I cleaned out a couple of years ago. Started to clear out, it's not perfect. Another wall, it goes along to just over there. Then there's another terrace which follows all the way around. Then another one. It's a beautiful place to walk. But I've got a lot of work to clean it. We had a lot of our cork oaks cleaned, well, decorked several years ago, but they didn't get into this part because it was so overgrown. We've still got probably 250 cork oaks could do with cleaning. That one that's just through there, that one there is probably ready for a recork in another year or so.
This one definitely is.
Yeah, these are ready, but you won't get much for them because it's the first year's cork, which means it's a bit thinner, so it's not got a lot of value. It's normally the second and third corking that you start to get good money for it. We have got a field over there which we'll just quickly pop round and we'll show you in there quickly.
You can see a huge difference between this part that we clean and the other part that we are still going to clean.
And what's behind Molly. That's where Molly was. We just walked out here. This terrace here was in the same condition as all of that, and I cleaned this one a few years ago. Again, full of cork oaks. The lake is just over there.
You can definitely see a difference where you've been cleaning yearly,
Yeah.
annually, I suppose.
Well, and again, look, this is what happens because I've been cleaning the land and I've taken trees out because this was full of pine trees. The lights got in. Nature is growing this rubbish to protect the ground. So I need to come in here with the chain. Now I've fixed it. Need to come in with a chain cutter, trim this down, plough it up, and then I want to plant some sort of seed or a crop in here. More cork oaks. That bank over there is the edge of the large dam. The water exits the dam over there. So lots of lovely flat space. There's the Gardenia Mountains with the lake right next to us. And we've got a new village mayor who has been doing a lot of good work in the village. He's contacted me. There's also another guy in the village who does a lot of canoeing. He did run the scout hut called Pedro. A lot of children come every summer and he takes them canoeing in the lake. I think he's got about, I don't know, half a dozen canoes that he takes the children. The mayor's asked if I would like to use this bit of land to help support that. So I'm really hoping we can do something with that this year. So this whole terrace could be used. We already thought when we used to do the markets and the fairs, cooking the pigs and selling Sandra's hamburgers, everybody wanted us to open a little bar on the land in here, which we were intending to do, but with everything else going on, money and all the rest of it, it never happened. So I'm hoping that I can do something really positive with the local mayor on this bit of land. It'll be good for the village, it'll be good for us, it'll just be a good thing all round. So I'm hoping I'll have some news. It's going to take months, nothing happens fast in Portugal. He said he was going to come and see me in January, and January's ended now. So, but he still wants to talk with me, he's just been very busy.
So let's head back to the house because it's getting a bit chilly.
It's chilly. Oh, and whilst we were in here doing all this clearing work, I managed to test out and use my new log holder that I made for the rear of my tractor, which has made chopping up long lengths of wood extremely easy. So that makes life a bit easier.